Do you know what I love? Trying to fix things and making them worse. The main reason why I went through this engine was because it leaked so many fluids. I wanted to be able to park in the driveway, and I did not want to leave a puddle everywhere I went. And the engine is doing pretty good. That does not leak. It is the transmission that is the problem. The transmission leaks a lot of fluid after I'm done driving it. And the original axle seals on the transmission didn't leak, but I thought I would replace them because it would be good preventative maintenance, and I was already replacing the axles, so I thought I should do it. And I ended up just making it worse. So I went ahead and I posted on the Facebook group and just asking for suggestions, if there's any tips and tricks that I missed when I was installing some axle seals. And I got a whole bunch of helpful feedback, and we're gonna try something today. And one of the really helpful things that I didn't really take into account was that if your axle has any play back and forth on like the inner shaft, then that won't cause a good seal. And with my car being on air suspension and the angle changing so much every time I air up and air down, maybe that could be a cause. And so then looking at it, this side has a bit of play, but not anything too crazy. And this side over here, I don't know if I can get to it, this side has a good amount of play in here as well. So that's definitely not ideal, and to fix that, you would have to replace the bearings inside of the transmission. I didn't really want to do that. This is what a normal axle seal would look like that you would get off of Rock Auto. I think this was like $3. This is the style of axle seal that I have on the engine. You can see it just has the spring around the back, and it seals against the axle shafts just like that. And apparently, these are just really low quality and are just trash. So I'm not going to be using that, and I'm going to be using some of these, which I didn't even know were made for the car, but apparently are supposed to be really good. This is from a company called Fitzall, and this is a bearing and an axle seal. This thing installs just like a normal axle seal by just being pressed in, but it also has an added bearing on the inside to help support the axle shaft and reduce that back and forth motion, as well as having a seal in here. These are supposed to be really good. The Fiero store does sell them for about $300. I got these off of Amazon for about $50 a piece, so definitely a lot cheaper, but I'm really hoping that this is going to fix the leaking axle seal problem. Now moving on to the car, we need to start taking this thing apart. We have to take apart a few suspension components so we can angle out the strut assembly and get this axle out. So I have a bit of work to do. I'm just going to go ahead and get all that broken down so you guys can see what we're going to do next. Now you may be asking why I'm doing it like this and not just taking out these two strut bolts and taking the whole strut out to make it a lot easier. The reason is I don't want to have to get another alignment because these bolts, the bottom one really adjusts your camber and your toe. And I've had so many difficult times trying to get alignments for this car that I really, if I can't avoid it, then I will. So I like to do it like this. Like this, I'll be able to just swing out the entire thing, and I'll be able to push the axle right out of the back like this. I might be able to just get a little bit more out of it. It's so close. And there you go. Now the axle's out. Now with this out and the axle out, you can see in here, it's definitely leaking in there. So we should be able to just remove this axle pretty easily. We just have to get a pry bar and just pry it out. And it should just come right out. I don't know if fluid is gonna come flying out of this. When I took the transmission out originally, it didn't, but I don't know. We're gonna find out. It's leaking a lot. Okay. All right, the old seal is out. I kind of destroyed it a bit, but that guy came out. There's some fluid leaking out of here, but I'm just gonna let that drip. I'm gonna go over here and prep this new seal. I got some RTV. I'm gonna put that around this inner lip. All right, I have my RTV on here. I'm gonna go ahead and just try and put it in. There is a drain on the back of it. I think that you should put that on the bottom. I don't know 100%, so I'm just gonna go with it. And I don't know, we'll see, I guess. Let's put it in. All right, I got one seal pressed in. It's sitting flush to the back. And yeah, I think that's really it. Some oil for the seal. All right, nice coat of oil on the seal. The axle already has some oil on it from taking it out. So now, I think we just have to put this thing back in. Try and go as straight as possible. There we go. Now our axle is back in the transmission. Put some Loctite on the axle. Put way too much, but that's okay. Put on our axle nut. Then we'll send her home. Alrighty, the whole car is put back together now on this side, and we are 50% done with our installation. Honestly, it was not that bad. Getting the seal out is definitely the worst part, but once you get that out, it's pretty smooth sailing from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and repeat what I did over there on this side, and we should be all set. All right, let's get this axle out now. This one actually came right out. All right, so to get the old seal out, I'm gonna just get a screwdriver or a chisel underneath the lip of this seal. So I'm starting to fold it up on itself. Which is fine. I like to just fold the entire edge over, and then you can kind of just pry the whole thing out at once, just like this. And there it goes. And there's that one. So I definitely put way too much RTV on there. I still need to clean that off, but I just got the axle pushed in, and these bearings really do help stabilize these axles. Like, there really is not any play on there at all, which is perfect. So now I have both of these new axle seals installed. I need to go through, clean up all the oil and all this extra RTV. Then I gotta put the car back together, and we should be done. last piece. Car is now put back together. So I'm gonna let this sit and let the RTV dry for 24 hours. Then I'm gonna put some synchro mesh in it and top off the transmission, and then I'll be able to take it for a test drive. But honestly, that wasn't too bad of an install, and I hope that it solved our axle seal issue. If you guys are interested in using this product for yourself, here is the packaging. It has the part number right on it right there, and I'll also put the link in the description below. All right, I took the car for a nice drive and I let it sit for maybe an hour, hour and a half, and there were no drips on the driveway at all. So I'm gonna consider that a success for right now. I'm gonna continue to monitor this, and maybe I'll jack it up in the air and look underneath at the seals at a future date. But for now, I'm gonna leave it like this. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to like and subscribe and comment if you have any suggestions. I always love hearing them. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later.